We're back, Marin City Port. People's applause didn't stop. At this moment, the more than 60-meter-high waterfront on the side of the school zone, which should probably be called the ship side, also gathered many human and demi-human boys and girls, waving in response. Both men and women wore similar uniforms, and it seemed like there were many people my age among them. Are they students from the school district? Miss Ina looked at these students, squinting her jade-green eyes, looking a little sad. No, this should be. What are you hesitating about? I felt a little confused, but I still mustered up the courage to ask her what happened. Nina. But a hand suddenly reached from behind and covered my mouth, and then pulled me into the crowd. Belkuin, I'm sorry. I have to work after this, and I have to go there. Huh? Belkuin. Belkuin. My mouth was covered with one hand. She held me back while holding her other hand around my shoulder, forcing me to separate myself from the crowd and move forward. My feet almost tripped together. In order not to fall, I tried my best to walk backwards. Only when I ran out of the crowd did the other party let me go. Hermes Sama. Ah, Belkuin. I met you here. This can only be considered fate. With a loud sound, he shook the brim of his iconic feathered hat. Seeing Lord Hermes' exaggerated movements, I was so moved that I looked up to the sky and sighed. It seems that the reason you are here is because after seeing the city's school district, you unconsciously stepped forward like an adventurer drawn to the unknown, right? The divine power that I vaguely felt just now prevented me from forcibly untying the restraints. Now, under the observation of the god, I can only honestly confess. I rolled my eyes in surprise and asked. Lord Hermes, why are you here? The school district is back. As a god with a family, I naturally have to come and see it myself, as he whispered like a secret conversation. Come, take a look. Inside the crowd, and on the roof of that building. Can you see the gods and adventurers mixed in among the children here and there? In the direction that Lord Hermes pointed, there were indeed gods and dependents who were probably the main gods of the family. They all looked at the school district and whispered to each other with mischievous expressions on their faces. The fact that I felt like the harbinger of turbulence, of this means that I completely took on Orario's color. Just when I had a bad premonition, Hermes-sama said the answer. Everyone is here for family recruitment. Recruiting. You're recruiting students from the school district. But, why? Of course it's because the school district is a treasure trove of talent. Let's go. Lord Hermes, who clenched his fists emphatically, said, let's talk for a bit, and switched seats. But it was only in the gap between the buildings, near the entrance to the alley, where the school district could be seen. Did you know that the school district is a world-traveling educational institution? Ah, yes. Miss Ina told me. That's easy to say. The school district is very famous, so it's easy to get involved in all kinds of trouble. If the city sends a request, it will deal with the monsters, and sometimes it will get involved in disputes between countries. Will is a sword, knowledge is a rod, and failure is a crown. It would be better to say that the school district will actively participate. This will be called internship, and the aim is to allow students to grow. Happening, I suddenly felt that the school district seems to be an uncomfortable place. In this context, although the school district is not as good as Orario, it is an environment that never lacks challenges. It's natural for students to reach level 2. I heard that recently there are students at level 3. I've been surprised since now, but there's nothing I can do about it. Staying in Orario will cause a huge shift in people's perception, but in fact, the families that manage to sublimate are very exceptional. As long as there is a person in a town or city, no matter how large the group of monsters on the ground is, they will definitely be able to repel him, which shows how contrary to common sense this is. Since the advent of the gods, today it has been described as, quality is greater than quantity. In today's era, as long as there is one person sublimated, it can even reverse the battle situation. And after 2 sublimations, level 3 is an absolute power in the world outside the city, and it is said that it will be invited by large organizations. The Labyrinth City with hundreds of high-level adventurers is an exception, but other than that, level 3 is already very unusual. Therefore, just from the perspective of combat power, this kind of absolute environment, but still with level 2 and level 3 school district, can indeed be called a talent treasure house. And many of the high-level active adventurers are from the school district. The 1,000 Elves, of the Loki family, is the best example. After all, the school district is a place of education. Most students will graduate and go their own way. And that's true. No wonder the gods are so active. It would be better to say that if Lady Hestia also knew this, her eyes would light up and she would want to come and recruit people. This control not only serves to suppress the enthusiasm of the common people, but also to prevent a measure taken to allow the gods and family on the Orario side to contact the students. Recruit and, in turn, prohibit escape. This is an advance rule. The unfamiliar words made me tilt my head and Lord Hermes clenched his fist tightly. However, of course a child with a promising future wants to strike first. Like the main god of the family clan. Can you understand? He suddenly spoke passionately, and I was struck by this impulse, and finally nodded at the same time. Although it's not a big deal, maybe it's because we were talking secretly, so I didn't do anything bad, but I felt uncomfortable. That's it, Belkuin. Now, follow me and sneak into the school district. Why did it become like this? I suddenly felt very guilty. We at Hermes family always recruit people looking for jobs. No, we are eager for ready combat power. Facing the gold mine of talent in that school district, we must not follow in the footsteps of other forces. But I have nothing. Why do you want to help? Instead of asking me, why don't you ask Mrs. Asfi for help? Asfi. I asked her to take a vacation. After all, she is working all the time. When I heard Lord Hermes looking into the distance and explaining this, I couldn't help but look away. And Mississippi Asfi is worn out due to her skill and always had a dead fish eye. It's better to say that if I don't give her a vacation, I might die. In the Goddess Festival, I originally planned to let her rest, but, look, it happened again. Asfi is really running around, it's so sad, her body can't get any rest. He mentioned an incident that could be said to have been caused by me, which made me make a sound similar to biting into rotten fruit. It is said that thanks to Miss Asfi, it seemed like an opportunity and the other team members also started taking vacations. At least this time, it seems that no one can accompany Lord Hermes to deal with him. Although I don't want to say it, the reason I came here alone, without even bringing my family, is because of Belkuin, right? During the faction war, I also worked hard for Hestia. That's the words of Lord Hermes. Speaking of which, Belkuin. In order for Little Seer to remain in the city, I secretly worked hard to convince the goddesses who are hostile to Freya Sama. Don't you think someone should be a little bit kind and can you comfort me? Lord Hermes smiled and closed one eye. I lowered my head weakly. Needless to say, Belcranel was naturally unable to completely reject God's request. Normally, outsiders are absolutely prohibited from entering the school zone. Except for the students, teachers, gods and related personnel who belong to the ship, all other factions, other forces and unaffiliated humans will be captured if they enter. The reason is that the school district itself is a collection of secrets, such as the production of Alita steel, which is known as the hardest refined metal. The school district has many outstanding graduates, people with technical knowledge such as magicians and alchemists, so they have accumulated unique technical knowledge and things called mechanisms, so that they are not used in a bad way. School district strictly prevents information leakage. If outsiders want to enter the school district, they will have to go through the same complicated procedures and deadlines as entering Orario. No matter how great a king is or how powerful a person is, Orario's first-level adventurers are no exception. That's what Lord Hermes told me. In short, what I want to say is that it is extremely difficult to break into the school district. The port department is not only the relevant personnel of the school district, elite advanced adventurers of the Ganesha family, they are also closely monitored, and even if they become transparent, their aura will definitely be detected.